Delegations viewing infrastructural projects in the West. Union leaders protesting a recent ruling. And a Bahamian pilot landing to a hero's welcome.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, the Minister of Works and his delegation moving to West Grand Bahama to carry out an inspection of government projects. The fact-finding mission began at the Fishing Hole Road and ended in West End. Italia Hall has the latest.
The Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, and his team first stop was in West Grand Bahama at the Fishing Hole Road Bridge. The project began in 2016 and is being constructed by All Bahamas Construction Company. Now, according to the team, the bridge should be completed by the end of June.
To date, about $7.5 million has been pumped into this project already, but we're expecting some more additional works to be carried out.
One of the concerns that I have right now, and I'm discussing it with the team, is the culvert, the flow through from the north side to the south side.
I think there has to be culverts under this road. We cannot continue in the Bahamas to allow exploitation of our natural environment, and so I'm not concerned about who the authorities are with respect to that. There has to be a free flow of water.
From there, they visited the government complex in 8 Mile Rock. The complex will include 2 buildings. Building B will be a courthouse and a police station. Project manager Chris Simonet says Building A will comprise of a number of government offices.
The Public Library, a Ministry of Finance, a Post Office, a Ministry of Works, the Labor Department, 2 conference rooms, Urban Renewal, an Island Administrator's Office, Register General, local government.
The Holmes Rock Junior High School was also on the list. Acting Chief Architect Timothy Johnson says there will be 25 classrooms in the 2-story building and 2 contractors are on site.
We are slightly off schedule, but the contractors continue to work. There's some challenges that we do have on site. Of course, you see the site. It's a large site. It's a sloping site, and so they're mitigating some things just to fill in the site so we can have a better approach to the building.
Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, was also a part of the tour.
I believe that it is important for us to be able to evaluate and know what's going on, because in the end we want our residents to be very proud of what is coming to their community. I think that they are in fact going to be very proud once everything is finished.
The final stop during the afternoon session of the tour was in the community of West End. The minister gave an overview of the sites he visited in Grand Bahama. He says he also had an opportunity to visit the 8 Mile Rock Gym, and there are some challenges.
The air conditioning systems relating to the water systems, and we're going to actively look at them. But anything we do, we're going to have to create a secure environment there so that we don't get the level of vandalism and the challenges that we've had in that gym.
And as for the West End dock and seawall, he says the ministry is in the process of developing a comprehensive plan and will seek funding in the next budget.
Where we are going to build a new dock, we are going to refurbish all the seawalls, and we're going to build some new seawalls. We're going to spend a little over $3 million in doing that, and ensure that this dock, which is supposed to be a port of entry for the country.
Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
Unions throughout the country taking a stand against a recent court ruling. Tonight, they are calling on the government and employees to stand with them as they take this case to the Privy Council. Shishina Rowe-Farquharson reports.
Unions throughout the Northern Bahamas uniting against a recent decision made by appellate court judge Sir Michael Barnett. Their concerns center on the Court of Appeal's recent dismissal of the Bahamas Industrial Manufacturing and Allied Workers Union's case against Morton Salt in particular, and the fact that the judge's ruling states that an industrial agreement is an employment contract. VP for the Trade Union Congress in the Northern Bahamas, Kirkland Russell.
For the Court of Appeal to suggest that these agreements are nothing more than contracts contracts of employment. We believe that the Court of Appeal had erred in that verdict. We are encouraging the government to take immediate action and cause there to be an amendment, at least to preserve at this time the integrity of those industrial agreements until such time as the union and labor is able to get to the Privy Council to remedy these matters.
Area Vice President of the Customs, Immigration and Allied Workers Union, Darren Brooks, says this ruling could have far-reaching effects on employees.
It's immeasurable. The possibility of your employer altering the terms and conditions of your employment outside of an industrial agreement that you would have already negotiated is something that could have some adverse effects throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas, irrespective of changing the landscape of the trade and labor movement. You would have Bahamians vastly being affected by a decision their employer could make, and with limited recourse by the employee.
Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quentin LaRota, says the next step is the Privy Council.
We're hoping that whatever is necessary to get the ruling overturned, and at least we return to the status quo ante in concert with the Industrial Relations Act. That is what we are hoping and we're pushing to take place.
Shashina Rolf-Arkeson, ZNS Network News.
In other news, this is the brush fire season, and officials say so far frequent fires have been keeping them on their toes. Tonight, there is a call for residents to assist by taking some simple preventative measures. Italia Hall reports.
We are currently in the peak of the brush fire season that runs through May. Inspector Eli Ariska of the fire department says the department has received a high volume of calls for the first 3 months of the year.
Now, the inspector says for the year there have been over 150 brush fire calls, and he admits that residents are contributing to these fires. He's also reminding residents that this is an offense.
Persons may be lighting trash in their backyards. Persons may be cleaning out some trash, and they just discard it and the likes. And we find that because of that, we've been having a serious amount of brush fires, because once those small fires get away and into the forest areas, we now have to battle these large brush fires, and it puts a strain on the fire department, because especially when we have areas that are heavily concentrated with different homes and different structures.
He says persons must refrain from lighting items indiscriminately.
And so of your yard, be it trash bins, throwing cigarette butts out, again, because you may think it's something of insignificance when you just light a trash to clean out your yard or discard old materials. But it is a nuisance because the times that we're spending now attending to a lot of brush fires, which could have been avoided, in the event we have an emergency incident. When I say emergency, may it be involved where the truck of the responder, traffic accident where somebody needs the jaws of life.
And for all homeowners, he says there are a number of things firefighters take into consideration when fighting brush fires.
The fire might be so large that you can't see the fire truck on the next side. It isn't that we're not checking for your property, it's that the immediate danger at the time is maybe at a different location, and they're dealing with that, and then they will come to your location, because a lot of times when we deal with brush fires, a brush fire has different parts. We have the head of the fire, we have the fingers and the tail. So all of these things our firefighters take into play when we attack any brush fire. So we try to deal with the immediate exposures, and then we come back and try to extinguish the ones that are around the property that's not so much in danger at the immediate time.
Inspector Ariska is encouraging the entire Grand Bahama community to partner with the fire department and to call them the minute you see a fire. Now, the telephone numbers here are 352-8888, or you can call 911 or 919. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
Thanks, Italia. Tonight, as we conclude our Youth and Crime series, we hear from a well-known youth mentor. He continues to call for accountability on the part of parents and adults. He believes if proper examples are set, the youth will have good role models to follow. Kimberly Mullings reports.
One of the problems we have here in the Bahamas, I've been here 50 years, so I think I'm kind of an authority on young people, one of the authorities, is that we're all reactive rather than proactive.
Former educator and YMCA Executive Director Terry Goldsmith has been involved with young people for over 60 years, since he was 18 to be exact. He says older people need to be held accountable for the roles they play and ought to be playing in the lives of the nation's youth. It's as simple as asking the younger ones about the problems they are having or challenges they may be facing.
We can find out those problems, how they live, what they're exposed to. If we had a survey, a national survey, finding out all this information from them, right, then we can make a diagnosis, then we can find the medicine to solve that problem. Okay. The other one is the attitude of many of the people here. Okay, all they do is they sit, watch the television or listen to the radio and blame all the young people or blame the churches, blame this one, blame that.
He provided an illustration of how he thinks the Bahamian society operates.
It's like a donkey, right, in a field, and 10 people have got ropes around it trying to stop it from kicking and put it in the pen. But they're all pulling in different directions. When are all of these, the government, the churches, the parents, coming together and create a plan? If you don't plan for your future, you don't have one. You have the chaos with our young people that we have today. Look, you got a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old murdered someone. Come on, we've got to do something.
Goldsmith shared a few solutions to cure some of the social ills, which he said Bahamian adults have become accustomed to.
What we need to be doing is going out there with the people. I'm from the ghetto. I know rich white boy. I was in juvenile court 3 times before I was 10 for fighting, but a police officer cut my behind. Right? And he set me on the road to success. And I promised him when I was 18 that I would help someone in my adult life. And I've kept that for 61 years. Right? So I'm challenging the people of Grand Bahama and in Nassau, wherever, to get out of the cart, get out of your settees, your little place of comfort with your little 4 walls around you, and get out and do something. Get on the case of the politicians, the preachers, the teachers, and you do something as well.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues in just a moment.